Okay, so the scenario I've built here for you today is about controlled rigging. So this house is planted right below the tree, and we're noticing that this limb here was over top of the chimney and it's died because of the exhaust and everything. So they're afraid that this is gonna maybe catch on fire one day. So we decided to take it off. So I've already kind of set up most of the rigging. So our highest nice rigging point is up to the right there. And our lowering point, because there's all gardens and things like that here, we need to lower it on the other side of this limb. I am the climber. I don't have any of my safety gear on, but you can imagine that. My main rigging line here is going up there, and then I've got basically like a controlled tag line is what this is. This is gonna allow the piece to drop and not drop lower than we want it, and it's gonna also stop it from swinging before we're ready. So the problem with doing this is it's a little bit gear intensive, and you need a crew that is knowledgeable in what they're doing, and you need numbers, because I'm gonna need at least 2 people on the ground to be able to mitigate both of these rigging points. So if you ladies would like to come in and we can start this demonstration. This is like mini rigging, really dainty, right? But we're gonna imagine that this thing is like, say, I don't know, 500 pounds. It's a big chunk of wood. I've already taken off the brush. The brush, I didn't have to control it because I had a nice angle and I could swing it down and let it flow. But the wood, I'm a little bit more concerned about it dropping, and if it even just nicks the corner, this whole chimney is gonna fly off. So before I make any kind of cutting, I need to make sure that we got all the flex out of the rope as we can, because it might seem like it's gonna work, but there's so much stretch. This will just and hit it anyway, even though I've tried to control it as much as I can. So if anybody's used the Sena headsets, little Sena plug here, those are super beneficial for this kind of stuff, because right now we're like 2 feet away from each other, but these guys are actually like 50 feet down. The house is here. Brush here, I might not even be able to see here. I can't see the porter wrap, so I gotta be able to know what they're saying and what I'm saying, and they gotta know what I'm trying to achieve in order for them to help me achieve that. So climber is nothing without their groundsmen and women. So right now I'm gonna be discussing with Kira first. I want her to tension this piece as much as she can. So if you wanna go ahead and pull that down. There is a porter wrap down there, but in this scenario, I'd actually really rather have a goods rigging device, because that might create some opportunity to maybe lift the piece and get more of the stretch out of the rope in doing so. But we don't have that in this scenario, so we're just gonna go straight up porter wrap. So yeah, Kira, what do you got on there? Okay, 2.5 wraps, we'll do it that for now. We can build a mechanical device on here and pull the stretch out first if we really needed to. In this scenario, I don't think that's necessary, but it is an option. So if you want to maintain the tautness of that, that'd be cool. Can you see Jess? Yep. Jess and I have decided that she's super jacked, and she can do this piece on her own. If she couldn't, we'd probably maybe take a wrap around a tree or add another porter wrap, but like I said, work with what we have. So I have it in a block. So I got my sweet saw that is not at all proportionate to what I'm doing, but you get the gist. So this is also a really critical thing, is your cuts. Where are you gonna make your cut? I could make a notch and send it down this way. I could make a notch and lift it up this way. If I was maybe and I didn't care about tearing, I might actually use the tearing abilities of the tree depending on the species. Some of them tear really nice and will help take the load, so I could do that, but we're gonna keep this branch because they like to shade their house, whatever. So we're just gonna remove this limb. So what I'm actually gonna do, because we don't have the goods rigging device, I don't wanna do a lift because this piece is huge, and I don't wanna put that on my crew. So I'm gonna actually gently rig it down. So I'm gonna make my notch kind of aimed basically towards the porter wrap. It's kind of like, I usually try to aim my notches for the block and kind of head that way. So that's basically what I'm gonna be doing. So I got a nice flat blade here, so that helps. Bear with me, this might be a long time of cutting. I don't know how sharp this saw is. What I basically want it to do is take the tip weight, and then the butt weight's held by Jessica and Keegan's leg, and then it's gonna float. So what I want it to do is to come this way, and then come free, and it's gonna float because we gotta go over top of this. And then it's gonna lower down, and then this is where Jess and Kira, I'm just gonna sit and watch and maybe yell if they're wrong. But no, I'm not gonna do that because I got my Senas on, and help them maybe see what they don't see from the ground, but they're gonna have to communicate once it's free, and they'll get it down to the ground safely and controlled. So here we go. making my notch towards the block. There we go, okay. How's that look, ground crew? All right, so this is the fun part. So you want to line up, this is what I do anyway, I line up all my rigging nice and close to the point so that this thing is going to float out nice and balanced. Okay, ground crew ready? All right, back cut. So a lot of times too, before I do all my cutting, I will mimic making the cuts before doing it, because if you fully commit to making a notch and then you realize your saw won't fit in here without cutting your ropes, then your whole plan is kiboshed. So now I'm gonna go for my back cut, staying clear. So this is nice when you, if you are gonna be doing any rigging and you're gonna be doing cuts and notches with a handsaw, that's where a straight blade comes in really handy. The curved blades are good for pruning, but for if you're gonna be making notches, it's nice to have straight blades so you can line up your hinge. So I think that's good. That should work. Put my saw away. Okay, everybody stand clear. You got all the stretch out? We're good? Okay, the piece is gonna start coming over. It's gonna hinge nicely, and you want that hinge to be slow. You don't want it to be fast. So you want it to kind of keep it thick. Get a nice open control all the way while the ropes start taking that flex. So this is, if it were to sit here and I've got some looseness there and I've got time, I might pipe into Kira and say, hey, can you take some of that slack? Sweet, thanks. Okay, that's good. Jess, you good on there? Yeah? Okay. So now I'm gonna let it keep going. And now I can finish my hinge, because basically all the weight is in the rope. There's just a little bit of a pivot point at this point. So I'm pretty comfortable and confident that once it does release, it's gonna drop a bit, but it's gonna kind of sit there. And then it's up to these ladies to take it from there. So staying clear, piece coming free. This is also where work positioning, I'm over here. As this piece comes free, I'm intending on it going this way. I don't want that coming this way or pushing the saw into my face, you know. Work positioning is very crucial. Woo. Oh man, it worked. Okay, so now you guys, Kira lowers it. I'm gonna be the weight, okay? I'm just weight, because this isn't gonna work because it's so light. So now it's mostly Jess at this point, because Kira knows she can't lower it too much because we got to get it past this guy. Our lowering zone is over here. If we lower it here, it's going to land in the bushes. This could be a huge pain in the butt. All right, so this is where goods would be awesome, because if you got it to this point, you could lift it up, and then Jess is pretty much obsolete at that point. And then Kira lowers her down. Taking the slack out of the line, making sure your notches are proper and your back cuts and your hinge wood is good. Maybe having someone on the ground to give you an eye on your hinges, if you're cutting too far low or correcting it, because sometimes you can make those corrections, but if you don't have someone there, once you cut it and you're committed. Having a great grounds crew makes a world of a difference. Nothing without your groundies. Is that cool? Yeah.